Hey everybody. In this extra step, what we're going to be doing is adding some text to our player's UI to display what our current regen is sitting at. So in order to do that, what we need to do is select our player game object and expand it. And then we're going to expand our player canvas object. If you don't have your player health and stamina bar, you can still do this step, but you'll need to change your alignment to match what we do here once you add your sliders. So we can still do the step. It's just not going to look right until you add your sliders I believe that's in week 2. So what we want to do is first go to our player stamina slider. We're going to right click on it here. So I guess you kind of do need to have this. So yeah, if you haven't done the player slider step yet, you'll need to do that first. So hold off on this extra step until week 2 or until you add the sliders. But for now, anyways, we're going to right click on this, go to UI and select text. We're going to name this first object Regen Plus. Just like that. And then we're going to replace its text with a plus sign, like that. We're going to set its height to 60. We're going to keep it left aligned, but we want the center option on the right alignment there. And we're going to set its font size to 24. And then finally give it a color of white there. And then we're actually just going to duplicate this object by clicking it and pressing Control or Command D, and then delete the plus and the 1 at the end of the object's name. So it should just say regen, and then we're going to say 0.0. We're going to replace the text in that text field with 0.0. Now, while holding Control, let's click both of these objects and drag over to the right until we have a little bit of green left at the end. And then we're going to only select the regen object and click Pause X and drag to the right again. And line that up perfectly. Again, if you don't have your sliders, yeah, you can't really do this. So again, you'll just have to come back to it once you add those. Once you have those two objects, go ahead and hold Control again. They're in place. Hold Control and select both Regen and Regen Plus, and tap the Control or Command key. And then we're going to select the player health slider and right-click it and select Paste as Child. What that's going to do is it's going to paste 2 new identical text objects that are now children of our health slider. But we're going to use the Position Y tool on the right here to slide that up by clicking and dragging to the right. And we should see that stuff appear, or maybe not. Let's try this. Let's set Position Y to 0. There we go. So apologies, set position Y to 0, and then we'll click Pause X and drag over to the left till we get it just inside that left edge. Then you'll have to select Regen Plus and drag that over to the right such that it is sitting to the right of our number there. Once we've got those two objects there, let's go ahead and drop down into the project panel, find the resources folder, find the scripts folder, and the created folder. We're going to right click in here, go to create C# script, and we're going to name this regen text, just like that. Next, let's select the player canvas and drag the regen text object onto that player canvas in the inspector. Excuse me. And then open that script up. At the top here, we're going to add some space like we normally do. And we're going to say public text stamina regen, with a lowercase s, stamina regen. And we'll see text alignment will appear here, and we'll delete that, but we'll get an error for text. That's because we're missing that using unityengine.ui line. So we're going to type that up here on line 4, using unityengine.ui. And now we'll see that error highlighting go away. So we've got health regen. I'm actually just going to click at the end of this line and tap Control or Command D, duplicate the line, and then replace stamina with health. And then we're going to add a couple more lines of space. We're going to say player stats, just like that. Now into the start method, we're going to say stats is equal to get component in parent player stats, open and close parentheses and our semicolon. That's going to assign that player stats component to our variable. And then in update, all we have to do is say stamina regen dot text is equal to, and then in parentheses, stats dot max stamina over 25f, so divided by 25f, dot to string, open and close parentheses, and then in those parentheses, we want in quotations F1 with a capital F. Just like that. And of course, our semicolon at the end. What that's going to do is our passive regen, the amount of health that we gain, or both stamina and health that we gain per second is equal to the math we're doing here. So that'll accurately represent our stamina. We're going to duplicate that line just like we did with the top one by tapping at the end and pressing Control Command D. And then we're going to place the word stamina with health, just like that. And same thing inside our parentheses. We're going to say max health instead of stamina. But we want to replace 25 with 40 because our stamina, or our health regen's a bit slower than our stamina does. Once you've got that done, go ahead and save the script and head back into the project. We need to go and select our player canvas again, find these stamina and health regen objects here, and we're going to drag the regen from each slider into here. Now the names won't tell you, so make sure you're paying attention to which object they are a child of. So the stamina slider 1 has this regen, so we drag that one down into stamina, and health regen into health. And if you click the text, it'll highlight which one is which, so you can double check that you have the right ones there. Once you've got that, go ahead and save your scene. As we go through and make changes to our player by adding objects or making tweaks and things, let's always make sure that this serves as a nice reminder. Let's always make sure that we select our player, go to the Overrides tab, and hit Apply All, just to make sure that all of the changes we're making are applied to our player in all of our scenes.